What's up, everybody? Welcome back into another hangover. Nick and Colin here with you on, what is it, Sunday, August
9th.
31st? What is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
the 9th.
not quite.
Oh my God, it's my mom's birthday today, Colin.
Is it?
It really is.
Are you just realizing that?
Yeah,
Damn.
I
Wild.
knew her birthday was coming up. I actually think I even thought about it this morning. I said, oh, it's coming up soon.
So you gotta go, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Do you send a card? I never have the for. I should. I'm sorry, Mom. I know you're a long-time listener of the pod.
You've never
Um,
sent a card to your mother, your own mother?
I think once, I'm afraid to say no, I have not. I don't think so. Other than when I used to live with her and I could just hand her the card that I made,
Yeah.
during high school class where I was supposed to be learning Shakespeare.
She's probably the one viewer right now that we got for this live stream.
She probably thought, wow, they're doing a podcast on my birthday. Unbelievable. It is unbelievable, Mom. Do not believe it.
Yeah, give her a special shout out.
Happy birthday, Mom. So excited for your 40th birthday. You don't look a day over that. And, thanks for bringing me into this world. I think you did pretty good job. Or, hey, you did the best you could, right?
What better card to give than a live stream?
Excellent. We're just with the times, right? I'll make her a TikTok video after this or something.
Absolutely. There you go. Yeah, it's my homie Lowell's birthday too. A lot of birthdays going around. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you know that before this podcast, or did you just...
I did, yeah, because he's going away up to Washington. So I did know that, yeah. So I met with him a little before, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm a sensitive guy. I keep track of the important birthdays.
Good. Good.
That is a realization. I can remember forgetting one of my parents' birthdays and just being like, oh, what a terrible person I am.
One of your parents' birthdays. That was a very interesting choice of words there.
Yeah, I can't reveal who it was.
Right. Because they're all longtime listeners of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think my dad listens to this.
Yeah, my dad doesn't listen to... he's not a Redskin, or excuse me, a Washington football fan.
Mine is.
Yeah. We got to work on our target marketing, I guess.
I know.
My dad's wife, Kathy, she's a Dallas fan. She listens to the podcast. My dad, Steelers fan. Yeah, they're so wrapped up in their own black and gold.
What the hell is wrong with this world? Anyway, let's get into it. Speaking of what is wrong and the terribleness that is, more news we got going this week. Darius Gaish.
Darius Gaish.
He's out.
Yikes. It seems like a new podcast, new turmoil. I mean, my God, what have we yet had a podcast that hasn't involved some either terrible, racial atrocity or domestic violence or sexual harassment? Good God.
Yeah. Now it's
Darius
domestic
Gaish.
violence kicked off the team. You're starting running back, maybe. I don't think Ron Rivera even cares. I think he's like, yeah, okay. What else is the news today?
We should probably share too what that is, right? For anybody that doesn't know what's going on, Darius Gaish was arrested Friday night on domestic violence charges, essentially, stemming from 3 separate instances, I believe, in February, April, and May. So Redskins found out about it Thursday, notified the league, and Friday notified Darius that his bowling antics and movie ticket buyings in the District of Columbia would no longer be needed. Because that's all he did, right? I don't remember the games that he played in.
What about his Twitch account?
That's true. That's true.
A lot more followers than we do. He probably still does. Do you think he's probably making some kind of public address on there?
I doubt it. If he's a smart guy, I sure hope he's not.
What happened, man? What a disappointment. I mean, look, there were character concerns before he was drafted. There were injury concerns, which those were clearly proven. I don't really know exactly the details of the sexual assault, but it was what, 3 times? Three
Three
different.
times, one count involving strangulation, and two
Yeah,
other separate incidents, all
yeah,
happening at his residence.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. This
Look, where there's smoke,
strangulation.
there's fire. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
three
it's not
separate
like
times.
here's the difference, right? Some of these times they happen, right? The arrest happens immediately after the phone call of whatever happened, and we all kind of make a rush of decision. I mean, this one, if they were investigating three separate incidences, I mean, there was a process that definitely happened, and something that got Darius arrested and released on $10,000 bond. But this is a little separate of an incident. I wish, hopefully, Darius the best. I hope he figures out whatever the hell's going on in his life. And from our running back room, Collin, I think it's an unfortunate way to go about it, but I think it helps clear up some of the logjam that was in that room.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, clearly, Darius Geis was not a Ron Rivera type of cat. I mean, he didn't have the work ethic. He didn't have the mentality that he wants in the team. And I really can't imagine Ron Rivera being all that stressed out about the dismissal of Darius Geis.
Yeah. John Keim reported a little bit that actually Carolina, which was under Ron Rivera when Geis, the year he was selected, actually took Geis off of the board because of some maturity concerns and also because of some injury concerns.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, Collin, that we thought Geis was one of the high probabilities of people to get cut in training camp just because he didn't appear to be the outward culture fit that Ron Rivera was looking for. I'll push back a little bit on you about the work ethic. I always thought Darius Geis worked pretty hard, but it definitely, when you're trying to create a culture and you've got enough of a shit show going on in Washington, if anybody gives you an inkling of domestic violence or anything like this, you got to cut bait and
Yeah.
get the hell out of there.
I mean, yeah, Darius Geis had a personality, which, by all my accounts, that's cool with me. That's fine. I don't mind a player with personality, but for Ron Rivera, it conflicted with what he's trying to create, and especially during this time right now. I mean, they didn't mess around at all. And I think the difference is because, right, they had the time to investigate this. 3 separate accounts, and it wasn't just like he said, she said. They were able to fully investigate it. The Redskins, I mean, good. The Washington football team, they
Can't say that.
they made the decision extremely quickly. They didn't mess around on this at all. They just cut his ass. And when you cut somebody that quickly, well, there's a few different factors, right, with the Washington football team. Number one, there's all this storm going on, and you brought it up earlier, right? The name, the sexual assault thing. They're trying to create a culture that's just not laughable at this point, right? That's just not completely embarrassing on any perspective. So there's that. And number two, I just don't think they cared about him on the team. I think they said, whatever, you're not really giving us that much at this point. You're constantly injured, and we just don't really like the way you're fitting in with the team. And we're confident with Adrian Peterson. There's a reason they went out and got Peyton Barber. Shit, they might have known about some of these domestic violence allegations before we did. I would certainly hope so.
I would say you're spot on there about kind of we got a little piece of Darius, but we never got the whole thing. John Keim of ESPN did an article, and quoted Randy Jordan, the running backs coach for the Washington football team, one of the few holdovers that stayed from the previous Jake Gruden regime. Yeah. But he had this to say about what he said to Geis. Quote, "The only thing you did this past year is you were an appetizer. I want the whole steak. I want the whole lobster. I want the whole thing. End quote.
Man, he's
And
hungry. We got to get him a meal. What's going on? How hungry is this guy?
Right,
He needs an all-you-can-eat buffet.
buffets.
Nick, you
Are
gotta
we
give
ever
him
going to
some
see
pointers.
buffets again, Colin?
Well, what's the deal? I drove by a Golden Corral the other day. It seemed like they're fully operable outside.
Really?
Um,
You don't
yeah,
say.
like to go, Golden Corral to go, or you can eat outside. How do you do Golden Corral to go? You line your pants with aluminum foil? Like what do you what do you do?
Are you kidding me, Colin? What do you do at Golden Corral to go? Golden Corral to go has always you've always paid for it. It's just Golden Corral, and then you line up. Yeah, you line up your pants. You've got the whole technique.
Yeah,
And
I
then
gotta
you
go
just
to the
take it to go.
bathroom after that meal.
Well, that's to stay. That's for here, right? That's why they ask you in the beginning before you sit down. Are you going to be leaving your food here, or are you going to take it to go?
I don't know. You love Golden Corral. It's some trash food. I can't get into that
Oh,
shit.
come on! I didn't come on here to be insulted today. Not
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Truth be told, Chinese buffets are where my heart lies. Golden Corral, it's just kind of this, yeah, junk
Get your
food.
fill at the trough as much as you can. All right. What other players can we talk about? Or should we talk about some coaches here? Ron Rivera,
Sure.
I know you brought this up earlier. You wanted him to get a standing ovation this year when the season
Please.
starts.
That's right. I mean, geez, look at this guy. What has he had to do so far already? First off, he agreed to take the job, which I realize is, maybe we have some questions there that need to be answered. However, all of the shit that Ron Rivera has gone through before the season has started, are you shitting me? I mean, when he comes onto the field, I don't care what standing ovation John Allen gets or, Alex Smith, he's probably going to get a nice one, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. But when they announce Ron Rivera for that first game that the Washington football team plays, I think he needs to have a 10 to 15 minute standing ovation. That man came into the organization, dealt with a sexual harassment allegation, had to deal with the name change, all sorts of racial discriminations going on. He had to deal with two arrests, one domestic violence, one weapons charges. I mean, geez,
A
the
total
list goes on and on.
division of our fan base.
Trent Williams had to deal with that shit. Quentin Dunbar, thank God he cut bait before he committed a crime.
Yeah, he's on the
Good
commissioner's
insight on that one,
exempt
Coach.
list. But Nick, you kind of nailed it. I feel like in the beginning, he brought this shit upon himself. It's his fault. He should have never taken the job with the Washington football team. He knew this shit was gonna happen. He knew that getting in bed with Dan Snyder was gonna be an absolute, complete disaster of epic, cosmic proportions. He thought he could bypass this shit. He said,
What do you mean he knew?
I got it together. I have everything together. I'm an organized man. I know how to handle my own business. The shit will not fly in DC when I'm the head coach. Little did he know. He's wrong. He's completely wrong. He got
Did you just
bamboozled.
Bernie Sanders, my face there, right there. Did you? I think you did. Oh, I got burned. I'm feeling the burn today.
Hell yeah.
Feeling the burn.
Hell yeah.
So, Colin, are you suggesting that Ron Rivera, when he took this job, was sitting there with his wife going, all right, well, we know there's going to be domestic violence stuff, right? Reuben Foster. Okay, let's see. I mean, maybe he did. He's
I'm
a smart
saying
guy.
He didn't know the specifics, but he'd be a fool not to know that this was very possible. Very possible. Just look at the history. Look at the history.
I just wish he would have said that in his introductory press conference. I wish he would have taken the podium and said, I'm Ron Rivera. I'm very excited to work with Mr. Snyder with this Washington football team. I can deal with up to 2 domestic violence, arrests in the beginning. And I can take maybe, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 sexual harassment allegations. But that's got to be it for me for the first year.
and one starting running back getting dismissed from the team for domestic violence.
And
Yeah, he
let's
should have
change the
put it.
name while we're at it.
If he really was an organized man and knew his stuff and felt confident, he should have put this shit in the contract. He should have put these clauses in there, and I can be released after this amount of crap. You know?
Maybe he did. We've never seen. The contract stuff is very murky. I could see even like when Darius commits a crime, we can automatically release him without having to go to Dan. Something
Right?
like that. Yeah.
What other coach hasn't been chewed up and spit the hell out after being with Dan Snyder? Has there been anyone that hasn't been completely and fully and utterly disgruntled and considered a complete loser by the end of it?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
I guess you can't really consider like Kyle or Mike Shanahan a complete loser.
Sure.
But
Marty
by the end of it,
Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer, right?
We burn them out. They either retire
8-8.
or leave bitter, or take an NFC team to the Super Bowl in a couple of years after you've let them go.
Yeah. Well, you
But,
let them go before they become head coaches, and then they're very successful. But if you put a certain amount of responsibility in front of them to lead the organization, I mean, they basically said, Ron Rivera, can you handle everything right now? Can you just take over? Because we're really in a lot of trouble.
He's got the shoulders for it. Very broad shoulders.
He does.
I believe in Ron. I'm putting my faith still in Ron because he has not yet shown me a reason to doubt his leadership.
He's an idiot for walking through the fire.
You mean the front door? Is that what they call it? Yeah.
I love him too. I'm with you. I will give him a standing ovation for having the courage to do that. To just go through hell just to get to game. Not only that, you got coronavirus happening.
I'm going to stand up and clap for him. And I know he won't be able to hear me because I'm probably not going to be one of the few lucky fans that gets to be live streamed into the stadium. But, we'll reach that when we get to it. So you're on board. You're down to give Ron the standing O, which he deserves. Another player, I think, person on the Washington organization that's going to be excited. I guess news since we did our last podcast. Alex Smith coming in, practicing, obviously on the physically unable to perform list, the PUP list. However, I don't know. How do you feel about him resuming football activities with the team?
It's amazing. It's pretty remarkable that that it's even possible that he could do that right now. Yeah. After seeing that gnawed on chicken bone of a leg that he had. I mean, that thing was charred and barbecued to hell. You know, it was like the kind your uncle cooks up at the barbecue, and you're just like, why do we let him cook still? God damn! You can't barbecue. He's not paying attention. He's had too many drinks.
There is that one alpha male in every barbecue that's like, oh, I know how to control the flames. I know how to do this.
On high.
Yeah. Gotta get that crust.
It's amazing. I'm really happy that he's there. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. You know, I think we talked about this a little bit. He's a man. I give him the permission to do what he wants with his body at this point. If he feels comfortable and healthy and motivated enough to play football for this organization. I mean, I'm scratching my head a little bit as to why. But, I think the love of the game. He loves the game of football more than most. And I don't know. I can't argue with that. That's awesome to see that kind of competitive flair. So, yeah, if he wants to compete with Dwayne, by all means, go for it. You know, I feel like he's the kind of guy, too, that won't be so upset if he's not starting and that he will continue to help Dwayne Haskins grow. I could see him being a great coach on the sidelines. So I'm all for Yeah, I'll give him a standing O. Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Ben Standig of The Athletic, he was on with Kevin Sheehan's podcast, and he did bring up one interesting scenario in which Alex Smith might potentially save his year and kind of kick it back. They talked about, with COVID happening, right, there's kind of this exempt list. If you have an underlying condition, you can get $300,000. And if there's no underlying conditions or diseases, not at high risk, then you'd get 150. There's some rules that go in. Anyway, Ben of The Athletic was talking to Kevin and mentioned, it might be something that Alex Smith's camp considers because it really kind of pushes the can down the road just one more year. You'd give him extra time. You'd give him the ability to maybe extend his career, really see if that leg's going to work in a football capacity, if it has the ability to get hit by 340-pound men or not. And I thought it was just something really interesting that maybe Alex Smith will consider. We've already seen a few people opt out from the Washington team. Caleb Brantley was one of them. I think, was it Sean? No,
What was
Josh
he
Harvey
gonna do?
Clements was the other one.
What was Brantley going to do with that depth chart on the D-line? He wasn't going to play anyway.
He was going to opt out. Yeah, he made the smart choice.
Yeah.
Opt out or get cut.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting proposal. I'm all for that,
Yeah.
I mean, if he needs an extra year, that would make sense to me. So,
Speaking of extra years, Jordan Reed, I don't know if you saw this. Jordan Reed got picked up by the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan is planning to use old Jimmy G with Greg Kittle. And Jordan Reed out there on the field, potentially taking some heads-to-heads.
yeah.
We've talked about Jordan Reed before. Anything changed with you? How do you feel about him playing again?
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of guy that you always wanted on the field, right? On Sundays. Such a huge difference maker. Amazing hands, the agility. He was insane. I mean, he was a top tight end when he was healthy, a top 3 tight end. And after a while, I think we both came to an agreement where it was like, hey, man, I don't really know Jordan, but I just want him to be healthy. I want him to have his head. I want him to have his brain. It seems just silly stupid to kind of be out there at this point, especially with all the new age information that we're getting and just how dangerous football is to begin with. If you've only had a couple concussions or maybe none at all that have been officially diagnosed. So, it's just car crash after car crash to your head. And he has had so many that I rather him just, take it safe. I mean, he could barely play for us. Did he play a down last year? I don't even remember him out there once. The year before, it was so seldom at that. And it seems like the year before, he was, on and off the field. I'd rather him just call it. And I know it's got to be extremely frustrating for a guy that talented, that good.
It does.
I mean, he's a Pro Bowl tight end, and I'm sure he felt unsatisfied. And I wonder if there's some of that with Alex, too. Knowing that he was so close to winning a Super Bowl, and the way things kind of developed with Kaepernick, and then getting traded to the Chiefs, and then Mahomes. I wonder if there's some of that fight in him that just says, I haven't fulfilled my potential.
Yeah. I imagine, right? I mean, I'm sure Alex Smith feels that, and Jordan Reed has to. It must be. I actually cannot imagine. You had the tools, the skills, the ability to be at the top of your position in the world, right? I mean, I think Jordan Reed had the athletic ability, the hands, the after the catch, the elusiveness, all of that stuff to be a star, and we saw that in the past. But to have that really taken from you as a result of, people aren't going to want to hear this, but the violent nature of the game has to be such a – I hope he's not bitter about it, but from all of the mental gymnastics you would have to do dealing with that, feeling robbed of the ability to contribute in a game that you love, that pays you for it, that you're at the top, abilities when you're on and when you're healthy, and to have that not be the case for the majority of his career has to be extremely frustrating. And I'm sure is fuel for the fire for why he wanted to give it another chance. But it's still going to make me cringe to see him out on that field, just seeing him as a human being, as a person with a brain that works right now.
Yeah. We played the Niners this year, so maybe we'll see him out there on the field.
Yeah.
Live sports.
Yeah. Well, it would be interesting if we saw him out on the field, because the last little player news that we have for today, Reuben Foster, just today, actually, Sunday, August 9th, Mom's birthday, probably because of that, activated off the PUP list and will be contributing. Once you're activated from that list, you're good to go. And he sustained that injury, which was a gruesome non-contact injury, May of 2019. So it's already been, over a year.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Former 49er and allegedly accused of domestic violence. That was a whole mess of he said, she said, back and forth, taking it back and then saying he didn't. And what a mess. I don't know.
And I can already hear some people, right, talking about the hypocrisy of this, right? Reuben Foster, domestic violence, right? Darius Geis, domestic violence. And I don't know how you weigh all that. That's a tricky thing that I think the NFL struggles with.
Obviously. Yeah, it's not very consistent. This is why the thing with Darius Geis just seems so clean. They cut him so cleanly. And I think because of that investigation, where with Reuben Foster, the girlfriend went back on the situation and then said, like, he didn't do it. It was a bit messy. There's clearly some obvious red flags. And I guess we came to a collective agreement in the NFL and the team and the fans that said, okay, well, I guess you can go out there and play. Like, you're kind of acquitted of some of this stuff. And then he got hurt. And now he's off the PUP list. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make a difference. He showed glimpses with the 49ers, but really it was when in college that everybody was super high on Reuben Foster. He can make an immediate impact on the field at middle linebacker if he's healthy. And that's a position where we could really use some help. I like the guys. I like the fight in our linebacking core. But from a talent and speed perspective, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Reuben Foster out there giving it his all.
Cole Holcomb, Thomas Davis, Sean Dion Hamilton. Yeah, I mean, the linebacker crew is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. I think they were one of the position groups that I highlighted earlier on in the offseason. Super stoked to see what they bring. The Reuben Foster stuff, I don't know all of the intricacies and delicacies. Delicacies? That was the wrong word. The delicacies of domestic violence.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we? All right, let's wipe that off the screen for anybody listening there.
Yeah, I want to see him out there. I want to see him out there competing. I want to see if he can be a starting linebacker. Great. If you've cleared everything else, great.
Live sports. We want to see him in live sports.
If we're going to see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
The MLB is in a lot of trouble, I think, because of the way that they're going about this live sporting event system. I think they made a huge mistake in the way that they're transporting players from stadium to stadium. I think the NHL and the National Basketball Association have done a lot better job. They've created a bubble.
I like that you said the whole National Basketball Association.
The National Hockey League. I think they've done a better job creating this bubble and it seems to be a better way to have live sports. It seems like it protects the players in a better capacity than the MLB, where the entire Marlins team essentially is, testing positive for coronavirus. Other teams they've had to delay games and cancel games. There's already been talks about, like, is this going to last? If the players don't really take this sincerely. It seems to be a bit of a mess. You got the cardboard cutouts there. I'm not a fan of that.
Let's talk about the card. I was thinking about this the other day. It's still hard for me to think about football actually happening. I want it to. I need it to.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's going to happen. But we talked about the cardboard cutouts with the audience members, and you feeling a personal connection with some of those cardboard cutouts in some Dodger games. I've also seen that we are starting to live stream fans into the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, Collin,
Yeah.
would you be interested in being streamed into the stadium so that people could see your face as you're watching a Washington football game?
If they're paying me. I mean, first of all, it's 2020. Cardboard? It's like 1865. Like, we're playing Red Dead Redemption here, and we're at like some horse derby online event or something. Come on, like, it's 2020. Like, I want to be I want the VR. I want to be able to put my VR set and be in the game, in the stadium, watching the game. I don't want to be a cardboard cutout that has no relevance at all, where I'm just watching on TV like, look, there I am. A piece of wood is erecting me into a frozen state of numbness that I'm already pretty much at with this league. So, yeah, I'd rather them find a way for me to be in the game. How can we not do that? How are they not working on this technology? Now that would sell some VR sets. If you could be in the game, if I could be like on Skycam,
just even at the stadium, I feel like it would be cool if you even felt like you were sitting in a stadium seat.
Yeah. I'm not even talking 50-yard line, 40, 30 is fine.
Yeah. It's funny. I could only think of being in like the cheapest seat up at the top.
I know.
Where like the flags are blowing. That's usually where I'm sitting.
That's how messed up this league is. If they did create some sort of VR system where you could be in the stadium, they would charge for that.
Sure.
They wouldn't let you just come on in for free.
Are you saying you would not be interested in paying anything that they would need to pay you to come into the stadium virtually?
I don't know. I got to talk to my lawyer.
I understand.
I just,
very busy.
I think that they should be generous during this state of time. I know they're losing money on ticket sales, but they're going to make so much damn money on TV, and the fans aren't able to come to the games, that they should find some fun solutions for the fans, that they're not gouging our pockets for once.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I honestly agree with you. I think the virtual reality thing is an amazing concept. I mean, and if you could show me the benefits of where I could feel like I'm at the stadium with you, who lives across the country, but I felt like we could be watching the game in the stadium together, I would consider buying a virtual reality stuff, because that community connection is what I'm missing from these NFL games.
Yeah. Shit, I'd use it even if fans were allowed to go to the stadium. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing. 2020, guys. Come on, cardboard.
It reminds me of the
Tupac
U-Haul.
into a hologram a few years ago. You can't. Come on. Some amateur shit.
Princess Leia died and still continued to do 2 movies, okay?
Is she dead?
Well, I mean,
the actress?
Princess Leia, yeah. You weren't there for that day? Why can't I remember her name right now, Colin?
Yeah, I just saw her in some like psychedelic documentary. Apparently, she
I
was
thought,
really into
thought you were gonna be like, I
psychedelics.
just saw her walking down my neighborhood. No, she's alive. She's here.
Um, let's see. I guess I gotta scour the internet now for this
I
information.
cannot believe this is so embarrassing.
Is anyone home?
Mark Hamill.
Candace, who played
What?
Princess Leia? Huh? Who played her? Who was the actress? There was two of them. I really have to go to IMDb for this.
This is crazy. Oh man, this is where we need all those fans, all those people, all the soundboards. All right, why are we even talking about Princess Leia?
Carrie Fisher, Jesus
Carrie
Christ.
Fisher.
How many people just unfollow right now? They don't even know who Carrie Fisher is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And there's still probably a fair amount of you out there going, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Oh, is that her name? Is that Princess Leia's real name?
Oh, yeah, she got the one with the buns.
The
in her hair.
buns. Yeah. I mean, I makes it sound like we're making fun of those people, but we were just those people.
We are those.
We
people.
are those people. Yeah.
We only know about football players. And Bernie Sanders.
I agree with you though about the cardboard cutouts. They need to change. It reminds me of where you go into like lock your valuables. You buy a storage unit, and then they have a cardboard security guard with a flashlight, but he just stands in the same corner the whole time, even with the lights off. He's always there.
Or the when you're driving through a neighborhood and you see the little green like turtle kid with like the flag, slow down. That
now,
little
I've never
like
once
piece
thought
of plastic.
that was a kid though.
What
is that
is
what
that?
it's supposed to do?
I don't
Watch out! Turtles with hats sit on the bottom of street corners.
They're turtles, right?
Yeah, I never asked one.
Man, they don't
I
talk
just slowed
much.
down. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Come on. Let's create something beyond. I mean, Back to the Future thought we'd be flying in cars right now.
Yeah.
But
we did launch a spaceship to Mars.
Yeah.
To track for life.
That's priorities cool. In this country. Elon Musk is sending billions of dollars into the stratosphere, and we can't even figure out how to get 30 million people on unemployment just enough money to pay their rent. Anyway, don't get me more worked up than I am.
I know.
What else is on the agenda?
We talk about sports, and you talk about people that can't afford to live. Ugh, politics.
I just wish they wouldn't bring it up in football. What's football got to do with anything?
Have you been watching any of these live sports though? Other than your, yeah. I'm still not watching any yet.
I've only been watching Capitals and Nationals games, really.
Those basketball games, though, Colin, I watched the replays of those.
Yeah, that's what I need to get into. I'm kind of waiting until I can take it more seriously when the Wizards go away. Once they exit the scenario, I am very interested to watch some of these matchups. I mean, the Rockets, they crushed the Lakers the other day. Woo! Yeah. But LeBron was out. So I'm very interested in some of these basketball games. But yeah, I'm also interested in the hockey. I'm into the hockey. The Capitals have been looking a little sluggish, but they are automatically into the round of 16, the true playoffs, if you will. I'll be watching every one of those games. Yeah, okay, absolutely.
Maybe I'll hop on those with you then. I'll watch some Caps playoffs games.
Great team, great organization, good ownership, some leadership there. Awesome team.
They're gonna miss Trotz though, huh? Barry Trotz, huh?
Yeah, I do miss Barry Trotz. I mean, he wasn't there last year either.
Yeah.
I really think they did bungle that. They should have just gave him a blowout contract, keep it rolling. Todd Reardon, he's a bit of a stiff. He's no Barry Trotz skating out there to fire up the guys.
Yeah.
He's a real cardboard figure, if you will. But I don't know. I think they like him. I think they respond to him, and he's been around. He was there with Barry, so obviously the team's doing fine. They're doing fine. So, yeah.
In basketball news, if you haven't, there was a game last night versus the Milwaukee Bucks and the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Luka Doncic?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I don't know. Princess Leia on the Dallas Mavericks was absolutely unbelievable. He's got the buns. He had a triple-double. I think it's his 17th of the season. You should watch those highlights. Those are pretty fantastic. Yeah. Two great teams.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, basketball, there's a lot of competition this year. I think also why basketball is so intriguing right now is because it's more of a two-star situation. There's not the big three like have kind of been accustomed to in the past. It's now, Anthony Davis and LeBron. It's that
Paul
way
George
pretty much all the way around.
Kawhi Leonard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Porzingis and Doncic.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to say his name.
Dominic.
That's why we're a football podcast, not a basketball podcast.
Yeah. There's no foreigners in football. They don't let Europeans come over here.
We can also say John Wall. We got that one down. Check.
Big check. Big check to be sitting on the bench.
Sorry. What a lame thing to say.
Yeah. Whatever.
Colin, I don't have too much more than that. You got anything else you got to get off your chest here?
No, I think that's it. State of the world is in complete disarray. And now the whole world is just banking on some football to hold them over in the fall to get us through this goddamn year. So I hope we can make it happen as much as anybody. And I hope that they take some lessons from the NHL and the NBA. Now look, it's going to be harder to create a bubble.
Oh yeah.
53-man roster. I just don't know how they can do that.
Big bubbles.
Do that?
Maybe we could put all the people in a bubble. Maybe each person has their own individual bubble, and how we can get rid of the violence of football and make sure everybody stays safe from coronavirus. We just have them, do those little bouncy ball things.
Man, I wish I could pull up a clip of the Bubble Boy so fast. One day I'll get that good at live streaming that I'll be able to do that. Bam! It says Moops. Mosh! It's more, you idiot! Moops, I'm sorry. He's strangling the Bubble Boy. I don't know. What are they going to do, Nick? Because I imagine if they're going to be traveling the way that MLB is and just not being able to keep track of people's whereabouts and man.
We'll see.
That's the thing with football too. I mean, one person gets sick on that team. The whole offensive line is sick, and the quarterback. I mean, he's got his hands on the center's ass, by golly. I mean, it seems like it might transfer pretty easily.
I think though, they could just figure it out. I think it'll work. It's built in that it can go January, February, that they can extend the season. Maybe you incorporate a just in case extra bye week, so you would only have to maybe miss one game and then have an extra bye week. At least the football season and how many games come in, you can maybe structure it so it's a little bit easier to keep people quarantined for 14 days. That's the best silver lining I think I have right now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're figuring it out now. Hopefully You know, they're not taking cues from the federal government and deciding it a week after the fact. But I'm bitter. I think that's a good idea having an extra bye because what are they going to do when like baseball can reschedule a game, right? Here and there, kind of throw it in willy-nilly. But football, it's a very set, structured 17-week season.
Yeah.
So what do you do? It's not easy on one's body to pack up, pick up, and play the next day like you could, with baseball and even really hockey or basketball. Football, you literally need that week of rest and healing. So I'm very curious to see, if they should probably put a couple extra bye weeks in there, right? For safety.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, just keep in mind the league's not run by Dan Snyder, so maybe there are some smart decision makers on there.
Nick, do you think Dan Snyder is the only thing holding the glue together of us Washington fans these days? Like people are very divided on a lot of issues with the name and all that jazz. I want to get back to football and I want to come together and remember, what it is that we love. But it all seems that we hate Dan Snyder. Hate's a strong word. We despise, we loathe. We don't like him.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
seems
you
to
never
bring us together.
talk shit about Dan Snyder and somebody goes, hey. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
I think he's a little bit misunderstood. If you actually heard what he had to say, you might value some of his football IQ.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that perspective. I've also never heard the, hey, you're not a true fan. If you don't like our owner, you're not a real fan. Nobody seems to really appreciate what he brings to the table. And that may be the only thing left to unite us.
Well, because for us, it's us versus him, right? It's an us versus them mentality, but it's just him. He's never really integrated himself into the fan base. He's never, reached out to be a part of our collective tribe. And I think it's a very easy, line in the road where it's us, the Washington fans, versus him.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to edit that tribe word out. I can't believe you just said that.
Oh, gosh. We'll edit in post. It's fine. It's fine.
For those of you wondering about our own name, we've gotten some interesting feedback. In a way, Redskins Hangover is perfectly fitting. It kind of fits perfectly right now. But we are trying to move away from the Redskins because, we follow the team that we cover. And we'll be making a change sooner than later, hopefully. We are in process of that. And we're kind of just open until the Washington football team creates a permanent name as well. If you got any suggestions, we're open and willing to hear them.
Yeah. There's one or two that I actually like, so I can't wait to sit down with Dan and really hash out what the future name's going to be for this organization and for this podcast. And
he knows that we're just kind of goofing on him, ragging on him. I mean, somebody's got to,
You can get this podcast in the south of France. You can get it on a train. You can get it in a plane. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Pachow. That felt organic. That felt good, Collin.
That was good. I'm going to leave the poetry at that. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Redskins Hangover. Still Redskins Hangover. Probably one of the last Redskin Hangover live streams. But we'll be around. We ain't giving up. And we hope to see some football real soon. And as always, we are going to have this in a podcast form. And we will be doing another live stream 2 weeks from now. Sundays at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern is our new regularly scheduled program. So yeah. Nick, anything else, bud?
I think that's it, everybody. Stay safe, be careful out there,
Yeah.
and enjoy your week.
All right, yeah. Catch you later. Enjoy your Sunday. Au revoir. Dan. Just trying to speak a little French to Dan here.